Here he is. Here's Spiteri himself. How's it going, buddy?
How you doing?
What a run we just had.
It's pretty incredible. Lots of ups and downs, lead changes,
Yeah, there was.
late nights,
Yeah.
lots of shenanigans.
It was fun. It was a good time. Like, basically, I forgot some stuff and was able to just ask you guys for help on the fly. But otherwise, pretty much executed, like, the path I had set up and the time that I had,
It was executed pretty much flawlessly by all four competitors, I want to say. There were some minor blips here and there, but nothing that bad. You could take any one of those four races and probably stack them against, last year's race or any other races and not look too shabby.
Yeah. Like, it was, like I said, pretty much flawless on everyone's part, and then Ashton just, like, even more so.
The monster among men, Ashton, came in, and she had a chip on her shoulder. She was motivated. When she arrived to the marathon, she was dressed as Marin, so you knew that she came prepared for this particular race.
Yeah, I didn't know, that we've got the Discord,
Yeah.
and I see the Marin photo, but I was like, okay, that could mean anything.
Yeah, it was,
I could have a picture of Marin photo. That doesn't mean I know everything.
This was
Turns
serious.
out, yeah.
She I just went upstairs to get a cup of coffee, and she was on the phone talking to the press, I assume, just about some what it means to win Link's Awakening DX in its swan song at the Zelda Dungeon Marathon.
It's the end of an era, really.
It truly is. It truly is. We were alluding to earlier, there's lots of things that probably won't transfer over to the Switch version. Sideways block pushing, you got to figure is done.
I would think so. I don't know. Like, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I know, like, with Ocarina of Time, there's still some of the glitches and stuff that they had in that. That was in the original version, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is a little bit different going from this, like Link's Awakening DX to the Switch version than Ocarina to 3D. There's a little bit. It's more of a complete rework.
It looks like it's not going to feel exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like when we were looking at the videos of it, it looks like it's kind of a little bit slower moving and stuff like that. So it's the mechanics will probably.
It would be more apt to compare this to Resident Evil 2 and the remake of Resident Evil 2 that just came out. But there are going to be some things that I'm sure will benefit from going to Switch. No screen transitions, so that's going to save some time, I think. It's just one fluid screen. You got to figure that the sword will have a dedicated button to it, maybe the shield as well.
Yeah, and I think they already had. You could already see that in some of the
I think
gameplay.
so. Yeah.
I think the sword and shield did, and maybe one other thing.
So for hopefully that'll offset a lot of time potentially lost by losing some of those skips and glitches.
Yeah.
Because it really does take up a lot of time. Pressing start, equipping, forgetting where your items are, going back.
It's obnoxious. I wish I could just avoid doing it.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be, like I said, not just sword and shield, but then having, 2 item slots. That's more manageable. Because you can always have, even if they don't make, like, say they don't even make, like, lifting with the bracelet a thing, even just being able to have, like, that and Pegasus boots or Rock's Feather and Pegasus boots, like, you're not going to be changing out stuff as much,
Right. So I want to talk about something that we saw during our run.
Oh no.
And before for some context here, when I was doing this, my sources
we're talking about
my sources are telling me that the champion is off the phone with the press. They got their
just
piece.
on phone with the press.
I get so big a chair.
Well, the big dog gets the big chair.
Cool.
So Ashton is here. Can you tell us a little bit about your strategies and what made this run so dominant?
That's an excellent question. I don't really know what I did differently. I think a lot of it was just I knew where I was going this time, and I didn't make nearly as many mistakes. A lot of it too.
I found your wallet.
No. Some of the other racers are trying to rob me blind.
Yeah.
Catherine?
As you were.
Where were I?
You were saying you were just like knowing where you were
Right,
going.
yeah.
Right.
And then I also like really succeeded in a lot of ways on like the smaller strategies and stuff like that, like jumping across the gap and Angler's Tunnel, Key Cavern.
In Angler's Tunnel, that's a tricky
That's
one.
a big one. That one I struggled with the most.
I got the
I really
horses in one
struggled.
try. I had really good RNG on
horses.
Nightmare's Eye. Like I was always in the right place as I was right there. I got really lucky with that.
What was your horses like? Did you?
It was like six tries.
All right. Yeah, that's a little bit rough.
That's probably one of the worst like puzzle things you do
It's
in the
not
game.
a puzzle.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
not a
a-
It's just a
puzzle.
random schmozzle bozzle.
Hope you get lucky.
Yeah, it's just like a set of dice. You're just come on, please.
Yeah.
Flipping a coin. You could just go in that room and flip a coin, and it would be the same thing.
Okay, so I wanna just throw a quick thing out that I was alluding to before we got the champion to come and join us here. I was worried when I was told that I would be playing Link's Awakening at the Zelda Dungeon Marathon that would kind of lessen my excitement for the upcoming remake. Or not lessen it, but I was like, man, I'm going to run through this so quickly because I know where everything is, I know where I'm going, etc., etc. And, whereas if they announced Skyward Sword, that wouldn't really be fresh in my mind. But I was watching Ashton, and she was talking about Marin on a bridge, and I was like, what are you talking about? What game are you playing? So, like, there's obviously so much more in this game that is waiting to be explored in that remake that really is exciting. And that moment for me was just a kind of moment. So can you run us through, like, what's going on in that moment? Or, like, where does that sequence even happen?
Well, that's when you're going from Eagle's Tower to Turtle Rock, and Martin's stuck up on the bridge. But if you skip Eagle's Tower and go to Turtle Rock first, it just doesn't happen.
Right.
But I mean, I'm even thinking about how when you're, doing like a run like this, like you even miss like half the map. Like I forgot there's like an entire rapids ride somewhere on the map.
Yes.
Like-
Though, that being said, even if you're not doing this kind of run, in the current game, there's not much of a reason to do the rapids ride, other than for if you want a little good time riding the rapids. I think you can get some chests. There's some rupee chests along the way, but there's no like, I don't even think there's like a secret seashell or anything. So.
Oh yeah, and there's the seashells that you can look for too.
I can't even remember what those get you. The secret
sword,
seashells.
upgraded sword.
Sword upgrade?
Mm-hmm.
Make some of those. Well, the boss fights are already fine. They're not too hard on their own. So
no, the last phase of Nightmare can be pretty punishing when he hits you with the arms,
but then I'm looking forward to getting the boomerang.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Jamming
glad
him in the
nobody
eye.
died on Nightmare, which was
Now,
impressive.
what's the rhyme or reason for Crazy Tracy selling potions? Because every time I buy a potion from her, it's 42 slamos right away. And then you go back and it's 28.
It's random. You can have 28 the first time too.
Look, they don't
As
call
far
her.
as I can tell,
They
at
don't
least.
call her Crazy Tracy for nothing. She's just throwing out.
She just does what she wants.
Maybe the medicine economy is just like very volatile, and
She's new to capitalism. She doesn't quite get it.
she doesn't get it. No, buy sell.
Um,
I mean, I'm also looking forward to playing it not just to take in the story a little bit more.
mhm.
Like I know it well. Not that there's not much, so it's not like you're missing much, and we kind of see it happening. But it's cool to go in like that extra room in the face shrine and look at the
Yeah.
It's one of the best
mural.
moments.
It's awesome,
in Zelda history. Even I really love that. moment. It's
Absolutely,
very
yeah.
I was really impressed. Not impressed. I was just like astounded when I first played this game the implications of what that room meant, and how when you woke up the windfish, it just kind of destroyed everything. A lot of people say that like Majora's Mask is the dark Zelda game, but like, man, this one kind of is in a Donnie Darko kind of way, where it's like everything's so bright and happy that you know, like underneath it all, something's not right.
Yeah, that's what I like about the game actually, is that it's like, oh, I gotta sprinkle like fairy dust on this raccoon, and kill Goombas and stuff, but then also then it's also, there's a lot of sadness.
It's very cool how the bosses taunt you and stuff too. Like,
I agree.
they're like, you're going to disappear too,
and even them, they have like that mix of tones where it's like they're goofy. Like I said, the one guy's like one of the later bosses after you already know what's going on. It's like, what's up, dummy? Like, but then you kill him and you're like, it's like, what are you doing,
you're gonna die.
But
and they're almost pleading with you not to do it, which is sad.
They also do say though, like, but we were gonna run this place. I noticed that this time around. They're like, all right, but
they weren't great.
These guys, they're not good either. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. What do you think this game is about? Let's get real deep here. What do you think Link's Awakening is trying to say to its audience?
I don't know, because I mean, dreams are typically associated with positivity and creativity and the making of things that aren't possible. So on the surface, it would seem that you don't want to wake up this dream, or you don't want this dream to end, because it's such, it's a good dream, but then, and you see this colorful world and everything seems fine, and they don't really give you anything to counteract that. They don't give you a reason to want to wake up the windfish, other than telling you that you need to do it to get off the island.
That's what Link always does.
Right. It seems like Link is like the bad guy in this particular instance.
Sure.
It's pretty crazy. Maybe he doesn't do it. Maybe that's where Shadowline comes from.
Oh. Welcome to our new lore podcast we're starting.
Holy cow.
We'll bust out the Hyrule historians here. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think the whole idea of it is interesting. It's kind of like nebulous to me, or it's just like veiled in mystery, like what the game, what that's supposed to like convey. But I love it. I just love the tone and the vibe of the game.
They certainly imply that these guys were evil and bad things were going to happen, and you had to defeat them for the island to be safe. But then you just destroy the island in the end anyway, so yeah, it's interesting.
Maybe all it's trying to say is like, hey, you gotta go beat the bad, like, because there's no way around it. It's like, you leave these guys here and they're just gonna cast their nightmare darkness on the windfish in the island, but like, you gotta go beat them. But when you beat them, this is just a game after all, and the fantasy ends.
Yeah. It is weird that you don't see any evidence of the nightmare spreading on this island, aside from the actual enemies, bosses themselves. You don't see any kind of dark, corrupted areas like in a Breath of the Wild. You see all that purple ooze everywhere, and you can see the evidence of the Calamity Ganon. But this is just a bright and happy island.
I thought of something. There's like the Moblins come and steal Bow Wow. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's true. They say that that's directly related to Link coming to the island, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them were saying that the monsters are getting. I think they said that at the beginning of the game.
Right when you get your sword.
Angry because there was somebody there.
Yeah, maybe it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Like, you shouldn't have come here, but also like these guys they're up to no good anyway.
It's pretty strange. It's pretty metaphysical.
It's an amazing Zelda game, I think.
I agree.
Oh, it's my favorite. Yeah, I love it.
It's your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
I was saying you had the Discord photo.
Yeah.
Of Marin. I didn't know how serious that meant it was gonna be. Like how much competition you were gonna be bringing, and it turned out quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Yeah.
Turned out more than I expected. Yeah.
But yeah, and each of the 4 times beat last year's winning time of 2:36. So I think that every competitor can feel really good about what they did. Was there any areas that you got hung up in, Goo? in particular?
Oh yeah, I just got lost or like in some places because I was telling you earlier how I learned it was just like forcing it, like I crammed it all into my brain, and like so I don't feel like
Do you
I
even have a spare account for
Breath
of the Wild?
Like a copy of the cartridge or just
the account.
any of them, except for mine.
Oh, you have plenty.
Yeah, there's like 4 on there.
there was some technical.
That was the 4th racer. We tried to get a word with him, but I'm being
He's
heard
too
that
busy.
he's in backstage production meetings right now. So maybe later we can get a word with Lock Exile. But
so yeah, I was like memorizing a route, like as opposed to. I feel like it'd be like if you were acting in a play and you only got your lines to memorize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
Right.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know what this is about. So if I go to a room in a dungeon, and I was especially worried about accidentally going into a room and then like the door closing behind
yeah.
me,
right.
because like if that happened in Ocarina of Time, which is a game I like at this point know like the back of my
Inside and
hand.
out, yeah.
Like even if I mess up and go the wrong way, it's a pretty forgiving game, but
Right.
I also like know how to get back to where I was, but I was so nervous about like, oh, I went here and now I have to like
Eagles Tower especially is very scary. There's some holes where you can just fall and then you don't know that part of the dungeon at all.
yeah.
I mean, Ashton, you had an absolutely dominant run, but was there anywhere that caught up you for a quick second, or that you had to regroup?
I'm trying to think about that. I know there were a few times that I like made some mistakes. Like in Eagles Tower, I did fall down at one point.
Or the sign maze, actually.
Oh
that
yeah,
would probably-
yeah, that's awful. If you, no matter how you're button mashing, if it's A or B, you can reread the sign. But I mean, my fault. I just read the wrong sign. I didn't even.
Oh.
It wasn't even like button mashing that messed me up there. I just completely went the wrong direction. So you got to really pay attention when you're doing stuff like that. Yeah.
I learned that if you don't have 300 rupees to pay him and you leave to go get rupees, you have to do the sign maze again
Oh.
to get back in there
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
pretty
pretty
awful.
I've learned that the hard way before too.
I can't remember. There was something that I had learned the hard way when I was practicing for this that I was like, okay, don't do this, and I didn't do it. But I can't remember what it was. There's a lot of stuff where it's
I
like,
frequently forgot to get the honeycomb, like frequently every time, and I made sure.
That'll-
And then I didn't get bombs, the most basic of things not to get or to get.
yeah, that I think
Which is
that was
pretty
one of
rough.
the ones.
Yeah, well, I know what I always forgot. I mentioned this too when I was playing, that I'd forget to get Ballad of the Windfish. Because of the way that my route goes, she goes to Animal Village, so I just run right past her.
Right.
Oh yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, very very impressive performances from everybody involved. Let's switch gears here. Next is Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Breath of the Wild Bingo. It's coming up here. We've got Team Rachel, Team Gooey, Team Locke, Team Allison. Gooey, you're a captain on your team. Can you tell us any strategies that you may have?
Well, that's a great question. So, the rest of my team is either not here, they're on their way, or most of them are sleeping.
Right.
So, part of my strategy is to hope that some people wake up before we start.
Okay.
I was saying earlier, I don't want to wake them up though, too, because it's going to be a long haul.
Right.
So I want people to be their best selves.
Fresh legs.
I'm already thinking like I don't even know how much Kevin's really gonna. You know how Kevin is. He's
we
not
all know how Kevin.
he's not a
is.
team player.
No.
He'll play for like 10 minutes or if that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? There's Josh is I think gonna be a good foundation for the team, and Elias. Kind of a wild card. I don't know much about his experience.
And I mean, we should point out that Elias is notched not one but 2 victories at the Zelda Dungeon Marathon for the year of 2019.
So he's good at we know for sure he's good at 2D Zelda games.
Yes.
See how that doesn't always mean you're good at all video games.
No, absolutely not. Mossy Segopian would be a prime example of that.
Exactly. So that's my sleeping team. But I want them to be rested because also I haven't gotten much sleep, and I want to sleep.
Yeah, this is our I don't even know what it is, but it's a lot.
I was sleeping right there on the floor.
You caught about an hour of sleep on the floor,
But
maybe less.
So I'm gonna try, and then Justine will be here in a couple hours or something.
Right.
So my strategy is, one, hope they wake up, and are rested. But two, right now I'm just gonna hope that happens also before I do the Great Plateau.
Right, and that's a solid strategy that'll lead you to victory. I think it's a pretty good one.
I also need Kevin or someone to wake up who has a laptop, so we could do a lot of Breath of the Wild bingo is kind of looking up stuff to plan, because
Right.
you get, take back the sea side quest, and you're like, I
Don't know where that is.
don't know where that
Yeah.
is. So let's look that up on the interactive map.
And so Breath of the Wild, if you're gonna donate to only one game this year, make sure it's Breath of the Wild. There's a lot of really fun incentives. There's a lot of things that you can make these guys do to make their lives harder, and it's gonna be a really fun time. Of course, all the proceeds go to Extra Life for the Children's Hospital of Illinois. Ashton, you were just competing against Locke in a very fierce battle, and now you guys are going to be teammates. Do you think that you can bury the hatchet? Is there any friction there that might lead to dissent, or
No.
are you united on the same front going into Breath of the Wild?
No, I think we'll be good. Okay. I know neither of us have played much Breath of the Wild lately, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But I mean, we had a really intense Skyward Sword battle, and we had our intense Link's Awakening battle. But I think that we'll be able to,
Patch
team
things up.
Yeah, I think we'll be good.
Now, do you think fatigue is going to play a factor? Coming off the back-to-back Link's Awakening straight into Breath of the Wild gameplay here?
Very possible.
Highly likely.
Yeah, both of us are very tired. And both of us were up until 11:30 last night, too, playing Skyward Sword. So half of our team is,
Right,
dying.
just low fuel, low juice there. All right, do you guys have any strategies for victory? Have you had any team meetings so far?
Not really. You'd have to ask Locke about that. He probably knows strategies more.
As we call him, that he is the human algorithm. He has a plan A, B, and C. I'm sure that you guys are going to be fine. The other team that we haven't talked about is
talk to some of those people.
Yeah, we do. Hey, Allison, come here.
Here, I'll switch places with her.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
It was an honor.
So I've just got word that the agents are sending the team of or the captain of Team Allison up here. It's Allison herself. Hey, Allison.
Hello.
How are you this morning?
I'm awake.
All right. So we're just minutes away from Breath of the Wild bingo. You are of course the captain of Team Allison, the Talus Gym. Can you tell everybody about any strategies that you may have? Any plans to separate yourself from the competition?
I have a lot of preparation strats that I use, a lot of food that I make. I know exactly where to go to get some of the best food items. And I also, the reason for the Talus Gym is I fight a lot of Taluses so I can get money to buy arrows.
Right.
So that's my strategy.
Talk to me about your teammates. Obviously, we know that you have a history with Katie, but these other two are newcomers, and we haven't quite deduced what their skill levels are, how much they can be trusted. Are you a little bit weary of that, or do you have any plans for that?
Well, I know. So I've got Sean on my team. He's a newcomer this year to the marathon,
right?
And he's very clearly stated that his weakness is Divine Beast. So he has opted out of doing that, but he likes Breath of the Wild a lot, and so I have a feeling that he can do pretty well on a lot of the objectives.
Right.
And then I've got this Andy Spiteri guy.
You've got Heel Spiteri, who hasn't been seen since Link's Awakening ended.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about that guy. He's been awake all night.
Yeah, it's. We don't want to call him baggage quite yet, but it's you probably wouldn't be wrong if you did.
I'm kind of wondering if we make him do the plateau. That way he can go get some rest and come in for the final battle.
That could be a solid strategy. Let's talk about the team that doesn't have any representation here. Maybe if we're lucky, we can get a word with one of them. We have team. I think their team name is Girl Power. Let's see if I can pull them up here. So we've got Team Rachel, and Team Rachel includes Catherine, Judy, Ashley, and Rachel herself. I wonder, are there any representatives of that team over there?
We have a Catherine and a Rachel over there, I believe.
Maybe
if one of them wants to take a step back here, Catherine or Rachel, if one of you want to come say a word.
The people are demanding some answers.
Some answers
to some questions. Thank you so much for joining by Rachel.
Give up my seat.
The captain of Team Rachel here. So you're well rested. You've slept a little bit. Tell me about your guys' strategy going into Breath of the Wild Bingo.
I know Catherine can do Divine Beast, and I guess I can do the Blights, but the other girls can do objectives.
All right. So have you had a chance to scout out any of your competition, see what any of their tactics are, maybe try and slip them something to make them talk a little bit more?
Not that I know.
So this is an honorable squad, basically, then. All right, well, that's, we're going to see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I know that there are some dishonorable players among the ranks over there. So Breath of the Wild Bingo starts imminently. We're just getting finished set up. If you're going to donate to any one game, donate for Breath of the Wild Bingo. I'm going to turn it over to Allison right now. You can come and talk to the people. Talk to the people.
Okay.
We're gonna try and get you another backstage interviewer up here to help her out. So thank you.
I'm not very equipped for this job, but I'm gonna do my best. Ow, toes. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Breath of the Wild Bingo there's obviously the main game that you have to play. You have to get off a plateau, fight all 4 Divine Beasts, and Calamity Ganon. However, there are also 5 bingo objectives, like a line, if you will, that each team has to complete. They're all different for each team, but there are also incentive bingo objectives. Basically, let's have the example that $100 is donated, and my team, Andy and I here, will have to go complete a certain side quest. Maybe gather all the pictures of the Guardians in order to get into a specific shrine.
Right.
So we're going to have to diverge from our route to go complete that objective. And I'm not too sure. I haven't looked, but I think there's about 4 or 5 incentive objectives that we have ready.
So this is the time, if you're going to spend your Slamos, make it in Breath of the Wild. You can add a lot of fun and spontaneity to this race. This will be one of the funnest races that we do. This is a game that historically we've been able to raise a lot of money for charity for. So if you're watching, please consider donating for some incentives, and tell a friend if they are not watching us on Twitch TV/Zelda Dungeon. But we are ready for Breath of the Wild Bingo. It's going to start. We'll see you on the other side.